So we're going to go ahead and go over multiplying by powers of 10. We did this the other day, and I want to go over it with you guys again. So you have different situations, and first we're going to look at increasing powers of 10. So we're going to start with our pattern with 1, even though it's not going to increase anything. Then we're going to think about 10. So 1 times a number, 10 times a number, 100 times a number, and then finally 1,000 times a number. These are your powers of 10. So the number that I'm going to use to go ahead and work with is going to be 4 and 92 hundredths. Okay. Clearly, if you multiply 4 and 92 hundredths by 1, it's going to be the same thing. So just 4 and 92 hundredths. If we take 4 and 92 hundredths and we multiply it by 10, our decimal point is actually kind of going to move. Our decimal point, if you've got an increasing power of 10, is going to travel to the right, which then the numbers would move and shift on the place value chart and would change their value. So if we take this decimal point, we're going to move it to the right. How many places are we going to move it? Since there's 1 0 in 10, we know that we're going to move this and it's going to get 10 times larger. So your decimal point is going to travel between the 9 and the 2. So your answer is going to be 49 and 2/10, which is 10 times larger than what you started with. 100 times 4 and 92 hundredths is going to be 100 times larger. To show that, we're going to make 2 swoops to the right. So this is times 10, times another 10, which is a total of 100. And our decimal travels there. So your answer is 492. If we have 1,000 times 4 and 92 hundredths, you're going to move it 1, 2, 3 places to the right. It's got to get larger. So your decimal point travels once, twice, 3 times, and it lands right here. You've got to go ahead and fill this space in between the digit and the decimal point. So you've got an answer of 4,920. That's just a comma. Okay. The only other thing to remember, which is really important, is that these could have been written with decimals instead of just the whole number. So this could have been 10 to the first power. That is the same exact thing as 10. You would have gotten the same answer. Your decimal point would have traveled 1 place to the right. Your exponent is 1. That's how you know. You have to remember that 10 to the second power is the same thing as 100. So you would have done the same thing if you had 10 to the second power times 4 and 92 hundredths. And then finally 1,000 is 10 to the third power. And then just up on the top, 1 is 10 to the 0 power. All right, so we have decreasing powers of 10. That's something like this. We're going to start with 1 again, 1/10, 1/100th, and 1,000th. Okay, in this case, your decimal point is going to travel to the left. You either have to memorize this or you really need to look at your answer and make sure that it makes sense. Let's multiply this times 713 this time. All right, so 1 times 713, you might say there's no decimal point. There really is. There's a decimal point at the end of every whole number, even though it's hidden. So your answer would just be 713. For this one, 1/10 times 713. Again, you've got your decimal point here that you're going to go ahead and work. We're multiplying it by a decreasing power of 10, or a decimal power of 10. So our decimal is going to travel to the left 1 place, We know it's one place because there's one decimal place, or we could write it as a fraction, which is 1/10, and you've got 1 0. So I'm going to take that decimal and I'm going to travel it one place to the left, and it lands between the 1 and the 3. And your answer is 71 3/10. Same thinking times 100th. Your decimal point, you're going to travel it two places to the left. So I'm going to take it and go once, twice, land between the 7 and the 1. Your answer is 7 1300. So you see how they're getting smaller. So even smaller is going to be the answer to 1,000th times, or of, we talked about that, 1,000th of 713. You're going to travel it back 3 places to the left. So once, twice, 3 times. So it lands in front of the 7. So we're going to rewrite it clean, and our answer is going to be 713 thousandths. Okay. A lot of work, but you can do it.